First of all, thank you for showing up on a Saturday morning. You guys have a lot of things to do Saturday morning, peak timing. Thank you for coming. So as cool as that introduction sounded, I'm just 18 years old. Just like most of you, I don't have all the answers. I'm just starting out right now. Not have a lot of experience. But what I do have is a journey. Exciting, messy, chaotic journey. And that's what I want to share with all of you today. Think of today as a conversation between you and me, and I will lead you through it. So, I'm here to share with you my story, my lesson, my passion, everything in between. Um, so, before we dive into today's topic, I'd just like to, before I dive into today's topic, I'd like to say that passion and profession are two things that should always be hand in hand. When they separate from each other, life becomes sort of mechanical. Something important's missing. That spark, that sense of purpose. I'm a key example of when profession is fueled by passion. The journey hasn't been very simple. It hasn't been a straight line at all, but I've learned. I've learned how to think creatively, how to persevere, how to problem solve, not only in work, but in life. Oftentimes, when we're growing up, we're asked to choose our careers based on logic. What's safe, what pays the bills. But passion isn't about safety. It's about getting into the unknown, fearing everything. You don't know what you're getting into. So think about the time when you would have chosen something you love over something which is logical or something's reasonable. What would your life look like if you hadn't have to make that compromise? But here's the thing about passion as well. It demands a little bit of craziness. It demands you to ignore all the reasonable voices that say you're too young or you don't know enough. You just have to believe in yourself when no one else does. Um, when no one else does. The thing about passion is also that you want to know, it blinds you way before you've already gotten in. For me, at 14, when I wanted to write a book, I didn't know anything about writing, let alone publishing. So I still got into it, and I learned, I failed, and I grew again. And that's the thing about passion. The summer of 2020 was a very challenging and a different time for all of us. All of us were stuck in lockdown. Most of us had a lot of downtime, and we didn't know what we were doing. Most of my friends were scrolling through Instagram and mindlessly binge watching Netflix, but I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do something creative, productive in my time. Up till that summer, I was reading a lot, and a story had already been forming in my head. I wanted to write a book, but I didn't know how to. The more I thought about it, the more the story grew. But I didn't know anything about it. That's when I started writing the story. I would spend late nights writing it, editing it, and like looking for book covers and things like that. And the more I fed into it, more my creative world began exploring into itself. That's when I turned to Amazon to help me for publishing. At that point, I did not really know a lot of did not know a lot about publishing, but I took a lot of help from other people. At that point, Amazon had this publishing software which I didn't know how to use again, but I kept calling them. At that point, Amazon only had the American. They only operated in the American time zone, so I had to call them every midnight and ask them and clear all my doubts. Most of the times when I was 14, I didn't even have a steady voice. I don't have it now either. I had a very shrill and a high-pitched voice, so I'd like fake a deep grown-up voice so that they take me seriously and like they solve all my doubts. And half the times I wouldn't even understand what she was saying. She had a very fast American accent. I didn't know what she was saying at all. But I persevered. I asked those doubts every single day. I learned everything about it. And at the end, I kept writing, and the day I published, it was a surreal day. It felt like I'd achieved something. But I didn't want to stop there. The whole process of helping, like understanding my story and helping it, writing it published, I'd gained a lot of knowledge through it. And that's when I read a quote that most people who start writing books, I bet all of you have thought about writing a book at least once in your life. I read a quote that not everyone finishes writing a book. And I wanted to help those people who had written books, but who also wanted to publish and sell stories. That's when I started with nothing but a 13-inch laptop in my bedroom and a desire to help. I wanted to help more authors become full-fledged writers and sell their stories to global conglomerates like Amazon, Walmart, Flipkart, all around the world. So the thing about publishing, it's a very well-oiled machine. One thing goes wrong, everything collapses. So I had to put in effort and time and learn and fine-tune everything for myself. I had to make sure that I knew the things myself before I could help them. So I would spend hours researching how to design book covers, how to get the legal system side, copyrights, ISBNs, all that things. I had to get everything right before I could help people. Uh, that's when I started, and my days would start checking my emails endlessly. I would think I would get leads through like writing emails to people. I cold email a lot of authors to like get them published. But at the start, nothing really happened. It isn't as flowery as it seems it is. That's when I reached out to a few of my own friends and family who wanted to write books, and I helped them publish, which I then got a proof of concept, and which I started pitching to many other people. So the thing is that the whole journey for me was not about helping them publish their books or the money I made out of it. It's about when I saw that dream of them, theirs getting fulfilled, when they had that spark in their eyes, when their books were finally sold to people and their stories were reached to many other people. That's where I got my true sense of achievement from. That's how passion should essentially be. It should keep you driving every day, day in and day out. Uh, so as I said, I didn't really know a lot about anything at that point, and that's the best way to start. I was very naive. I didn't know anything about anything, and that's how I started. So uh, you need to start your journey in a way that you don't know anything about it, and you can learn along the way, and that's the best way to learn. If I tell you to learn something and like learn something without you being really driven towards it, you're not going to learn it. But if you're really driven towards something you know nothing, it's the best way to learn. That's how I started. At the end, a lot of people thought writing or helping others like problem solve was just my hobby, but it wasn't. It was my passion. People often misconceptualize hobbies and passion. They're two very different things. Hobbies are just something you do in your free time, and passion is something you actually live for. I'd like to test it out with all of you here. I'd like all of you to close your eyes for a bit, and like, you can close your eyes right now, and like think about something you love a lot, you love doing. Think about that, and ask yourself these three questions. Would you spend hours completely dedicated to it and not get bored of it? Would you lose out on sleep or forget meals while doing it? And would you, for the 100th or like the millionth time, even after getting rejected continuously, would you still do it? If your answer is no, congratulations, you have a hobby. But if your answer is yes, you have a passion. Now hold on to it and make sure you can make it your profession. So after that, progressing 2 years, I ran my startup that was called Vectors Publication. We raised a series of grants and things like that for my startup, and I was also featured on the news subsequently because of that. By the time I was 16, I wanted to solve bigger problems. I wanted to help the students of my age get connected to opportunities and an alternate career path. In this day and age, it isn't just about academics and rote learning, it's about more than just the classroom. So we had this idea with my friends to make sure that all students get opportunities outside classes like extracurriculars and things like that. So we built a platform. As easy as it sounds, it was really hard. We didn't know how the tech world moved at all. We didn't know how to prototype a software, or we didn't know how to make an MVP, as it's called. And that's how we started, right? And we had to build multiple layers of ticketing systems, social platforms, and multiple things along the way. We didn't even have access to tools like Google Cloud Platform for our hosting and things like that because we were minors. We did not really get the licenses early on, but we still fought through it. We gave countless demos to organizers and clients for them to use our software, and we'd even promise features which we hadn't even started developing or coding yet. And we just kept promising and we just kept delivering. We'd always, like me and my friends would always have banters about whether we'd survive the next week because we were not hitting those deadlines, obviously, but multiple other things. that's when it really hit me that uh, falling into your passion at the right time is beautiful because you're willing to do anything for it at any point. Compare it to the time I bombed my physics exam. I lost interest immediately. But even with the hundreds of millions rejection from a client who wouldn't want to use our software, I'd still keep going. I'd still keep refining my software. I'd still keep building relationships with my customers. That's the thing. And we faced countless rejections, right? We couldn't even host our site. The whole site wouldn't have existed today. So we had to email every single Google partner in India, and we pitched our story to them and told them that we are building this. We are minors, we get it, but I think we have some scope, and I think you should let us license your software for us to use. And many of them ignored us. Obviously, Google's a big corporation; they wouldn't really care about all of us. But one of their partners did reply to us, and they gave us the software, and that's why Jules existed. We kept going at it, and passion does open doors you don't even know exist. After that, we still faced a lot of rejections. We pitched to angels and venture capitals for us to raise money and things like that. And still, after those countless no's, and at a point we felt like we were like collecting a bunch of just rejection emails. But still, we went day in and day out, and we kept pitching to people, and we kept collecting data. And that one day, angel did invest in us, but he was interested in invest in us. And that's what. So that's the journey of really believing in your passion. It teaches you so many things which you don't even know of. For us, I didn't know how to give a demo before that. I didn't know what a pitch deck was. I didn't know what a P&L statement was. None of that. I was just a 16-year-old kid who went to like school and just did his PCMB and came back. So that's what it really taught me. And for the three of us, it taught us so many things that we would never trade that journey for anything else in our lives. Not even for anything much more fun. But the whole period of struggle to getting to some sort of win, we aren't as scaled up as you might think, but some sort of win. So like hitting like milestones like 100 users or 100 accounts being created is a big win for all of us. After that, obviously there were a lot of other challenges we faced. But what I would like to talk to you about is about how even after the no we faced, we kept building at it and we kept going at it. After that, there was this time where we didn't even know if we would survive the next day because of multiple tech blockages or even legal issues, and we kept fighting for it and we kept like going at it. And hence, we are what we are today, and we still exist, continue to exist, and we still have a lot of users who use our platform for multiple things like ticketing and community building and things like that. Also, I'd like to stress up on a point that passion is something that over a point after, it isn't easy to convert your passion into profession, first of all. It's a very bumpy ride. It's a bumpy graph with highs and lows. The lows are and the challenges are very hard, but they all teach you something. And multiple of us are hesitant to get into getting into a profession or a passion or that journey. But let me tell you, you might feel very unprepared, and that's okay. But you're never going to feel truly prepared until you get into a journey. That's what we learned. We knew nothing, and we still got where we were. Also, I'd like to say that when you find your passion, really own up to it, because it becomes your identity, it becomes a thing which you fall back on, it becomes your home in many cases. And that's what it should essentially be. Closing, I'd like to also say that I'd like to give all of you a challenge. Find something which makes you feel happy, which makes you skip meals, which makes you forget about your sleep, everything else, and be focused on what you're doing. At the end, it becomes more about not your achievements or your milestones. It becomes about the journey and the person you become through them. If you don't lose sleep, if you don't forget your meals, if you don't go at it after the millionth rejection, it's not a passion. It's just your hobby. But if it's your passion, you found it. Go at it, and the world is waiting for you. Thank you, guys.